Hi, how's it going everyone? This video is going to be a follow-up of the video that I did a few months back on some of the top stocks for the bear market. And in that video, I mentioned three particular company stocks, which include A2 Milk, Fisher Paykel Healthcare, and Spark Communications. Now, because of the healthy financial balance sheet of these particular companies and the fact that they are industry leaders, they are more poised to survive the lockdown period and are able to grow further beyond the lockdown. Now that the lockdown have eased since going into level 1 on 9th of June here in New Zealand, let's compare how these stocks have performed when compared to the stocks that have soared during the lockdown period. Let's start by taking a look at the good old New Zealand top 50 from SmartShares. Now, overall, it's down by 1% since going into level 1 on the 9th of June. So from 9th of June till now, it's down by about 1%. Let's take a closer look at the top 10 companies of the New Zealand top 50. And we can look at that through the SmartShare New Zealand Top 10 Index ETF. So for the top 10 companies, since the lockdown level 1, the top 10 has increased its value by around 5%. And this is significant because it means that the top companies are doing significantly better than the other 40 companies on the New Zealand top 50 index. Now, if we only focus on the three companies that I mentioned in the other video, so let's start with A2 Milk Company. A2 Milk Company is up by 8% since the 9th of June all the way up till today. So it's been chopping around for a bit, but it has been consistently trending upwards. Fisher Paykel Healthcare is the other company that I have mentioned, and they have been doing extremely well since moving into level 1, and over the past month and a bit, they have been up by more than 28%. Spark New Zealand is the other company that I mentioned in my other video. So Spark New Zealand from the 9th of June is up by around 8%. So these three companies, A2 Milk, Fisher Paykel Healthcare, and Spark New Zealand, have even outperformed the other top 10 companies. So now let's compare this with some other stocks that have been doing really well during the lockdown and compare them to see how well they are doing after the lockdown. First up, we have Air New Zealand. So obviously a lot of the flights have not been operating during the lockdown. But during this same period of time, the stock price of Air New Zealand climbed up a significant amount. Now, since going into level 1 till today, Air New Zealand has gone down by about 32%. Another stock that has been doing really well during the lockdown is Auckland International Airport. Now, Auckland International Airport has overall gone up by, let's have a look, by about 50% during the lockdown. And after the lockdown, it has gone down by about 11%. Another tourism-related stock that has done really well during lockdown is Tourism Holdings Limited. Now, Tourism Holdings Limited has gone up by a massive 260% plus during the lockdown period. But since going into level 1, Tourism Holdings has gone down by more than 29%. Another stock that has done really well during the lockdown is Kathmandu Holdings New Zealand. Now, Kathmandu has its stock gone up by around 120 or so percent during the lockdown. And then as soon as we went into level 1, it's gone into a downtrend with its share price going down by more than 17%. So what does this actually mean? So one possible explanation is that there is a lot of speculation going on with a lot of these stocks, that people are just buying these particular stocks because they are just cheaper in price, regardless of how well the business is actually functioning. So for example, tourism business should not be getting a lot of increases in their share price, especially during a time where there's pretty much no one traveling. And this is exactly the point that I'm trying to make. There are many articles that talk about the possible death of value investing, such as this one and this one, Is Value Investing Dead? Now, personally, I believe that value investing would always have its place because people would always have a fear of missing out on popular hot stocks, and they will want to put all their money into that. And it's very easy to overlook that the fact that the company is not actually producing any profit. I've always mentioned that I'm only really interested in picking up individual company stocks if I can get it at a good price. Now, personally, I am still expecting a pullback in the market some point in the future. But a lot of people have been coming up to me and saying, what if the market doesn't pull back? What are you going to do? Are you just not going to invest in anything? To which I say that is not entirely true, because I still make regular investments into index funds such as the Vanguard Index Fund and the SmartShare New Zealand Top 50. So let's say if the market continuously goes up, and I will still be okay, because in that case the value of my index funds will still be continuously increasing. But to buy individual stocks, I am only interested in getting them at a good price. Now, before we go, let's have a quick look at what happened to the Meridian Energy stock. So after the news broke out that they are shutting down the smelter at TY Point, the Meridian Energy stock dropped by more than 10%. And since then, a lot of people have come in around the $4.50 region and started buying up the stock again. And the stock has increased since then. So if you're lucky enough to get in time, you could have made a decent profit by buying the dip there. So I hope this has given you some insight on what's been going on recently in the stock market, and I will talk to you next time.